Hello folks, it's Eko here, and today we're going to be talking about automated drawbridges. Reading through the comments of a number of my horde bases, I repeatedly get asked the question, hey, how do you make these drawbridges that open and close regardless of which side you come through? So one of the things I love about 7 Days to Die is actually putting together all the electronics in a way that makes your life just a little bit easier. So what I've done is gone ahead and set up a theoretical and then a more practical example of how this all comes together that I'll walk you through step by step. So in both the theoretical and the practical, you'll see this set up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connection points, and we'll start with the power first. In any type of electrical scenario, you're going to start off with either a generator bank or a battery bank. So in this case, we're going to use the generator bank as the starting point. Make sure you've got some engines in it. We're going to turn it on. Make sure that if you haven't, you refuel it. And we've got power. So we're going to go from here. You always go from power to control agents and to the object that you're providing power to. And you can have a number of control agents in between. So in this case, we're going to do just that. We're going to come from the power source to a switch. And you can see this lights up orange, and you see the 1W indicating that it's got power coming to it. And we're going to go from here to one motion sensor representing the one on the outside of your base, and then running to from here to the next one representing the motion sensor on the inside of your base, and then from this motion sensor over to our drawbridge. Now you notice that these aren't getting power. That's because we don't have the switch currently turned on. So if we flip the switch on, we should have power flow through here, and we'll see that that one is lit up, and so is that one. So now once I enter this cone that the motion sensor has out there, you're going to see the drawbridge goes down. And if I step away, you're going to see the drawbridge come back up. Now, obviously, when you're talking about getting in and out of your base, that's not going to be practical. So we're going to make some quick changes. We're going to come into the motion sensor, and we're going to change this. We're going to leave power delay to be instant. We're going to change power duration, however, to be a good 30 seconds to give you plenty of time to get your vehicle into the base. So we're going to do the same thing to this one. You notice it's spazzing out until I finish that. And the other thing that you notice, I had the targets that it accepts set to target self and target allies. You don't want to have strangers and zombies in your base, so leave those turned off. So that is more of a theoretical layout of how you would do this. Now let's pivot from here and show you a little bit more of a practical situation. So let's turn this off so that one stops going up and down. So here I have laid out a drawbridge across a theoretical moat. And I'll talk about the characteristics of the drawbridge itself so that when you're laying it out, you have a sense for it. But let's do the wiring first. So the first thing you're going to look at is, again, the power source. So we're going to come here. We've got our engines. We've got some gas. We're going to turn it on. And then we're going to route from our power source to our control agent, number 2. So that's our light switch. We're going to go ahead and turn it off to start with. We're going to come from there to the outside to our exterior motion sensor, and then we're going to loop from that back to our interior motion sensor. And then we're going to take one slight detour on this one because I want to show you some other neat things that we can do. I could come straight from here to number 5, which would be our drawbridge, but I'm going to take it instead down to here and tap on this relay, because you can put any number of relays in line as long as you go from here and then from here back to our drawbridge. Now, I've added some additional things that this relay is going to do, which is going to give us kind of a nice effect. So we are also going to have to do the same adjustments that we did over there. We're going to have to bump this up to 30 seconds on the duration. And then the other thing that we're going to want to do is make sure that the camera is pointed in the right direction, so it actually targets where you're expecting motion. So to do that, you're just going to click here in the camera preview, and it's going to say it's got to be powered. So let's go ahead and flip our switch on, go back into that and click on this. And now we can say that's about where we want to be for the drawbridge to open from the inside. And then we're going to have to do the same type of setup on the outside. Little trick here, you can jump and hit E in the air and you're still okay. So we're gonna set this up to not that far. We went too far, 30 seconds. Again, make sure your targets are correct. You don't want the zombies and the strangers coming in. And again, just adjust your camera view. We want it about right there. So when the vehicle gets there, the door will open for us. All right, so that is all of our setup done. We've got this switched on. So now we can just hop in our vehicle, and just to show you a little bit of extra stuff that you can do with it, I've added a little bit of lighting indicators for us. So we're gonna spin around here, and this would be as if we were leaving our base. So as we approach, you see the door comes down and lets us out. Now it's gonna take it a second for that drawbridge to come back up. So while it's actually, yeah. So we'll just run around the back. You could hear me swishing through some guts there. So we're gonna, rather than wait that 30 seconds, we're gonna flip this off. And the reason you put this switch in line is during horde night, you don't want this accidentally flipping on and off. No one needs that. So now we're gonna switch it back on to show that it works from the other side. We're gonna hop back in our Jeep, and as we approach, the drawbridge comes down, and you can see I've added some lighting just for fun. Gives you a little bit of cool aesthetic coming in. I just threw some lights underneath a grate here. Kind of a cool effect for you coming into your base. Now, I'm gonna flip us back over to daytime real quick. And then I want to just show you a few interesting things about the drawbridge. So I'm going to switch into God mode here. The first thing to know is its dimensions. So the drawbridge is 5 across, 5 wide, and then 6 long. And then it's actually going to sit on the 7th spot over here. So that's kind of your dimensions of it when you're planning for it. So if you're making a pit, you're going to want to make that pit 6 across. Additionally, if you're ever doing a setup like this, you always want stairs coming out of this if the idea is to keep the zombies at bay, because what you don't want them to do is get stuck in this pit and just beating on the foundation of your base. So the other thing that I will point out, and I'm going to go ahead and close this so that you can kind of see this. I'm going to pull this block here. I want to change it to an actual block so you can see just a regular old block. You notice I have these 2 blank spaces up here. I don't know why they changed this. I feel like in Alpha 19 this wasn't here, but you'll notice if I try to place a block here, it will not allow me. I'm clicking my right mouse all day long. I cannot place blocks in these 2 spots. So if you can't do that, there's nothing wrong with your with your system. That is just the normal situation of how this works. So that, folks, is how you set up an automated drawbridge that works from both sides. If you have any other questions, drop them down in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you on the next one. Eko's out.